New York Giants fans, for as excited as you guys knew that I was to hear that Jameis Winston was joining the fold with the Giants, I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit perturbed that I keep hearing other names boundied about at quarterback in free agency. But where there's smoke, there's bound to be fire. So the reports are Aaron Rodgers could still be in play. Russell Wilson could still be in play. I'm not saying I like it, but let's discuss it. I'm Coach Gene Clemons, and I have a giant issue. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of A Giant Issue. I am Coach Gene Clemons. New York Giants on SI. That's where you get all of your New York Giants news and information from. Make sure you go check them out. I'm doing all of my good, great, and ugly series over there right now, doing some defensive linemen. You definitely want to check that out. You want to see what's going on there. Everything else, especially as we move towards draft season. It's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of good content there. While you're at it, go ahead, go over to that YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the podcast, New York Giants on SI YouTube channel. Make sure that you are here every time I drop a new podcast. I promise you, you won't want to miss it. So like I was saying, Jameis Winston, to me, represents the best opportunity for this team to not only have success in the short term, but to build for long-term success. It's not just a contract, although the contract is one that is so beautiful to me. I really do believe in Jameis Winston. And yes, I know what you're going to say. Well, he hasn't won much. I get it. That is a legitimate concern, right? In his time with Tampa Bay, he had 2 different head coaches. He had 4 different offensive coordinators. Not a lot of quarterbacks having success under those terms. Don't forget that when the new regime took over, that no risk it, no biscuit regime, they told him not to worry about interceptions. And then he went out there and threw 30 interceptions, and they went, we're going to go and get somebody new. Now, I can't argue because the somebody new that they got was Tom Brady. But imagine if Tom Brady didn't come and they decided to run it back with Jameis Winston after throwing for 5,000 yards and 32 touchdowns. What would it have been like to be in that offense for a second year? To have the tutelage of Byron Leftwich for a second year, to have a guy like Bruce Arians as your head coach for a second season. What improvements would have been made? Remember, that offseason, he also had LASIK surgery. A lot of people believe that a lot of his issues were because he couldn't see. So I believe, and this can just be me, and it's okay if you disagree. It's okay if others disagree out there. I believe that you have in front of you the best Jameis Winston there is to be had. He's healthy. He understands who he is. He understands what he can bring to a team, and he's not afraid to make mistakes. It is not paralysis by fear. If he believes he can do something, he's going to try to do it. And that's why I sit back and I wonder why I'm looking at all of these reports that say Aaron Rodgers still in play for the Giants, that say Russell Wilson still in play for the Giants. Because what I'm listening to or what I'm seeing tells me if those 2 are in play, then what is Jameis Winston here for? Did they sign Jameis Winston just so if they struck out with Aaron Rodgers and with Russell Wilson, they would have something to fall back on? Because if you tell me that's the case, then okay, I'll believe it. So first, here's what I want to do: is I want to have an exercise where I put all three quarterback skills up against each other, and I want you to tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right when I say, hey, or when I rank them. Okay. So let's start simple. Let's start simple. Age, right? Age. That is going to be Jameis Winston, right? Russell Wilson is 36 years old. 36. Don't forget, he ain't no spring chicken. He's 36 years old. He spent a bunch of time in college. Aaron Rodgers is 41 years old. Jameis Winston is 31 years old. So age, we'll give it to Jameis Winston. Here's the best part. Athleticism. Aaron Rodgers can still move around, but he doesn't move around nearly as well as he did. Russell Wilson used to be able to really move around. He's nowhere near what he used to be. Jameis Winston is the same level of athlete now that he was when he was running around in Tampa Bay, which is good enough to get away from you, but not going to scare you when he runs. I'll give the slight edge to Jameis, followed by Wilson, followed by Aaron Rodgers. Arm strength. If we're talking about who has the strongest arm of all three of these dudes, is not even close. It's Jameis Winston, it's Aaron Rodgers, it's Russell Wilson. Accuracy. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston. Deep ball accuracy. Jameis Winston, Aaron Rodgers, because he doesn't really throw deep balls. Russell Wilson, because his deep balls are accurate, but they're accurate jump balls. Somebody's got to go and fight somebody for it, right? He's not dropping a lot of those in the bucket. Decision-making under pressure. Decision-making under pressure. We'll give that to Aaron Rodgers. And by the way, I'm not doing that thing that y'all do, or that some of you do. Excuse me. I don't want to paint with a broad brush. I'm not doing that thing that some of you do, where you take the height of their career and then you try to compare it to who they are now. No. I need to know who you are right now. But I'll say decision-making under pressure, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, barely, Jameis Winston. Now, a lot of y'all will say, no, because Jameis Winston throws a lot of interceptions. A lot of those are not under pressure. A lot of those are just him trying to make a throw that he should not try to make. I know you don't want to believe me, but it's true. I watch more film. I promise you. So, decision-making under pressure, I'll put Winston third. Leadership. Watch this. Jameis Winston, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Jameis Winston is beloved by his teammates. I wish I could put a name on this bullet, but I heard somebody say that the whole idea that Jameis is loved by his teammates is not really true. Like hell, it's not. It's 100% true. Jameis Winston is loved by teammates. Why? Because he is selfless. a lot of the things that he does is not to make himself better. It is to put on for others. It is to allow them to be their best selves. Aaron Rodgers might be a little bit more cold, but you know who he is going through the door. And so if you can get past that cold, I don't know, like not warm and fuzzy way that he kind of goes about his business, then you can glean something from him. You can take something from him, which is a level of leadership. Russell Wilson's leadership, a lot of it feels contrived. A lot of it feels like a show. And again, I could be 100% wrong about that. But I haven't heard a lot of people go to bat for Russell Wilson after playing with Russell Wilson. I think that matters. So leadership for me, I'm gonna go Jameis Winston right there. I'm gonna put him at the top. Again, you can think I'm wrong. I won't even be mad at you with any of these. You can think I'm wrong. Ability to read defenses. Aaron Rodgers, Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson. Oh, well, why do you have Jameis Winston ahead of Russell Wilson in being able to read defenses? It's simple. Russell Wilson has never been able to see the middle of the field well in the pocket. That's why they manufacture moving him around so that he can get better sight lines. As he gets older, he's not able to move around as well, and therefore he doesn't read the field as well. Aaron Rodgers, still one of the best. The brain's the last thing to go. Jameis Winston, not bad. Just again, he sees something, and instead of going, I don't need to take that risk, which is what Aaron Rodgers does, which is what Russell Wilson does, he goes, nah, I could do that, and tries to power in a pass that probably shouldn't be powered in. It gets picked off. Durability. Now, all three of these dudes have dealt with injury, but Russell Wilson answers the call more than both of these dudes do. It's Russell Wilson. It's Jameis. No. Yeah, no. It's probably Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, Aaron Rodgers, although the Jameis Winston, Aaron Rodgers could be like, they could both be two, right? But Russell Wilson is probably the most durable of all three of them. Like he can play through. He knows how to protect himself. Number one, he can play through some things. Toughness, though, Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers on the bottom of toughness. Sorry. So when you start putting together all of these different sliders, I have a question for you. If all three quarterbacks came to the Giants, if all three quarterbacks lined up for the Giants in a training camp where they all got to work with the ones, who's winning this quarterback battle? Who's second and who's third? Because for me, Aaron Rodgers would probably win the quarterback battle, but Jameis Winston would be right there on his heels, and Russell Wilson would be somewhere further down the line, nowhere near those two dudes. If I had to say who would win an open competition if all things were equal, right now, it's probably Aaron Rodgers, then it's going to be Jameis Winston, and then it'll be Russell Wilson. So because of that, who do I believe would make the most sense for the Giants to go out and still sign with Jameis Winston on the bench or with Jameis Winston on this roster? It's Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers gets injured, then what you were calling for Aaron Rodgers, you still call for Jameis Winston. If something happens to Aaron Rodgers, Jameis Winston is going to win more like Aaron Rodgers than like Russell Wilson. And not for nothing, if you go out and pay Russell Wilson to come be a Giant, he's going to get beat out in training camp and in the preseason by a Jameis Winston who will just look more impressive physically. The ball will jump out of his hands. He'll make more of those passes that people want to see in New York. He's going to attack the third level. He's going to catch dudes in stride as they're running by defenders. He's going to catch dudes coming across the middle or breaking in. He's going to put the ball on them in a place where they could run after the catch. It's just going to be different. Winston's going to win that battle. So, while I would not spend any more free agent money on a quarterback, my number one thought process is if they do spend money on a quarterback, because we've heard Aaron Rodgers probably wants $40 million or more. Russell Wilson probably wants $30 million or more. If both of these guys want that level of money, then for that type of money, I need to get Aaron Rodgers. I don't like it, but I'm going Aaron Rodgers if that's the case. The problem for me is by doing that, you don't set your team up to be able to add more things around Aaron Rodgers in order to be successful. The genius in what makes Winston signing usurp the signings of Aaron Rodgers and of Russell Wilson is because with Jameis Winston there at $8 million, which could be $16 million if he hits all of his check marks, right? It allows you to go out and spend more money in free agency. If the idea was, we could see the Giants go and get Aaron Rodgers and then still go and address quarterback in the draft, then why wouldn't that still be the situation with Jameis Winston? Except now use the other $32 million that you would have had to spend to get Aaron Rodgers at 40, right? Or at 40, spend the other $36 million that you would have had to spend to get Aaron Rodgers at 40 a year and go out and get another premium defensive back. Go out and bring in a guard if you so choose, a defensive tackle if you so choose, a linebacker if that's the way you want to go, another wide receiver if you feel so inclined. If you have $36 million, at your disposal because you didn't pay $40 million a year for a quarterback, then you can use it and still go and get your quarterback in the draft. Now, I've heard some people say, okay, well, you've got Jameis Winston. If they don't get Aaron Rodgers and they don't get Russell Wilson, which, by the way, I do not believe they will. I know a lot of people out there going, the Giants have no plan. I think this was the plan all along. Oh, well, why do you think this is the plan all along? Because I said it was. It is documented. I was just on, I was on the Locked On Giants podcast with Patricia Traina a few weeks ago. And on there, she asked me, who did I believe the Giants should get at quarterback? I said Jameis Winston. Why? Because he's going to be the best bridge quarterback for this team that's not named Tyrod Taylor. And the only reason Tyrod Taylor would be better is because he already knows the offense. So now you get the best bridge quarterback, a guy who's going to play his role, understand, mentor. We talked about it already, right? And now you're going to put him with another quarterback. I said Shedeur Sanders. I said Shedeur Sanders is the guy that I would want to pair him with. But do you think I would be mad if they paired him with Cam Ward? Absolutely not. Cam Ward's pro day is today. He's out there slinging the ball all over the place. Shedeur's pro day is going to be in April. He's going to be out there slinging the ball all over the place. Somehow, Shedeur Sanders' stock has dropped, even though neither player has done anything. Shedeur Sanders' stock has dropped. Cam Ward's stock has risen. I'm going to tell you, this is lying season. And in lying season, what happens is that people will say things that are not true just because they want to get it out there in the atmosphere so that you, fans, and maybe even a GM or an owner with way too much control over his team decides we have to do X or we shouldn't do X because this is what's being said. So it's been a character assassination on Shedeur Sanders. Right? It's been a character assassination on Shedeur Sanders. Even though all of the players who've ever played with him love him, have not heard anybody say a negative thing about Shedeur Sanders. Somehow, his leadership is questioned. Even though Shedeur Sanders has started as a freshman in college and has played in 6 different offenses, 5 different offenses with 5 different or 4 different coordinators. Even though that's happened, they want to question his ability to like decipher and go through information. They want to question his intelligence. Even though we can see on film him go through his read progressions, they want to question his ability to read. Even though he is not a runner by nature, they want to question his ability to win from the pocket. And even though we've seen him run and be successful, they want to question his athleticism. We've seen him throw the ball 50 plus yards down the field. They want to question his arm strength. None of it makes any sense, except this is lying season. And in lying season, you got to get as much lies out there so that somebody like me says, hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. That's why I'm here telling you that the reports say that Aaron Rodgers is still in play. That's why I'm here telling you that the reports say that Russell Wilson is still in play. Why? Because where there's smoke, there's fire. But do I think that Russell Wilson is still in play? No. Do I think that Aaron Rodgers is still in play? No. I think this is fabrications from publications that need something to talk about. But because it comes from reputable sources, as a journalist, I am bound to do the job, which is to give the information to the people. You're my people. Aaron Rodgers is supposedly still in play, even though there's no real legitimate reason for Aaron Rodgers to want to come to the Giants. Russell Wilson is still in play, even though there's no legitimate reason for Russell Wilson to want to come to the Giants, other than for both of them money, which makes no sense because both of them have made well over $200 million in their careers. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how it goes. So just like I don't believe that any one of those two dudes are going to end up with the Giants, I don't believe any of this stuff they talk about with Shedeur Sanders. Why? Because I have eyes. I've seen it. I seen it, as they would say in the country. I seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. I know this is not how it goes. I know this is not how they get down or how he gets down. This isn't how that family gets down. That is a family full of hard workers. That is a family full of people who are accountable for their actions. That is a family full of people who are not looking for the shortcut or the easy way, who've earned every single thing that they get. You have to remember, when Shedeur Sanders first started playing football, everybody said from youth league, the only reason you're playing is because your daddy has you out there. It's been daddy ball for Shedeur Sanders ever since he came into some pads. And at every single level, youth league, they won championships. He proved them wrong. He was the best out there. High school, they won championships. He proved them wrong. He was the best out there. Went to an HBCU, not because he had to, but because that's where his father was. He wanted to do something different. He supported the play of the family. Everybody said he was there because of daddy ball. He made everybody look like idiots. Everybody that thought that way, he made them look like idiots. Then he went to Colorado, and they said, "Oh, he'll never be able to do what he did over there." There, you're right. He did better. All the stuff at every level, he's been successful. Why in the world would he stop being successful now? Everywhere he's been one of the hardest workers, one of the most studied players. Why in the world would he stop now? Oh my gosh, he's out here making rap music. You'd rather him be out in clubs, in the streets? Would you rather him be out there playing another sport? Would you rather him be up on the internet all day? Would you rather him be out drinking? Would you rather him be out womanizing? If the only beef you have with Shedeur Sanders is that he makes rap music and he wears his cap to the back and he wears jewelry and he speaks with a level of confidence that you are not comfortable with seeing a black man at that position talk with, that's on you. It's on you. Would you be happier if he just had hat in hand and went, "Oh, yes, I'm just so happy for this opportunity"? No. What quarterback do you want that's out here all meek and timid? I don't want a meek and timid quarterback. I want a quarterback that talks that talk. Why? Because he's got people who are dogs behind him, not puppies. He's got dogs behind him. And those dogs need to be led by an alpha. Betas can't lead. Betas cannot lead. That's why he's him. Because when everybody else thinks that they're the man, he steps in the front and goes, "No, I'm the man. I'm who you listen to. I'm that dude. I'm the one. I'm the guy." And everybody else has to acquiesce. Everybody else has to step in line. You know why? Because that's how it works in the pack. You know who else understands that? Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston understands when it's time to be the leader, when it's time to step up and be the alpha. And he understands when it's time to fall in line, when it's time to not be the alpha, to follow the other alpha. That is a skill that many of us have not mastered. That is a skill. It's a skill, ladies and gentlemen. I could go all on. So, do I think Aaron Rodgers is coming to New York? Nope, not to play football, unless he's on a visiting team. Do I think that Russell Wilson's coming to New York? Nope, not to play football, not unless he's on a visiting team. Do I think that the goal is to add a quarterback in the draft? Absolutely. Now that becomes the interesting conversation. Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, somebody else. I can tell you from my perspective, if I'm the Giants and I don't take Cam Ward and I don't take Shedeur Sanders, I'm taking Jalen Milroe because whomever, you know what? Let's save that for another day. Because I've got a lot more to say on this conversation. Matter of fact, why don't we do this again tomorrow? We'll come on here and we'll discuss the college quarterbacks. We'll do the same thing. We'll go through all of the rankings and where you put them. We'll look at why the people are who they are, and we'll do that right here for all of you. Join the conversation. New York Giants on SI. That's where you get all your New York Giants news and information from. Go ahead and check out all of my good, great, and uglies that are coming on a daily basis right now. Check out anything else that I'm doing over there on the platform, and then come right over here to the New York Giants on SI YouTube channel, because we are skyrocketing those views, and I thank you for that. Check out what we're doing over here. Make sure you subscribe. You'll get this. You'll get the Bit Blue Breakdown, Paul Dottino, and much, much more. Until next time, I'm Coach Gene Clemons, and I've got a giant issue.